Today on CityCast Philly, we're bringing you the second installment of our Fall Getaway series, where we share our best tips for making the most of this short, sweet season. Looking for a scare and a little road trip? I'm speaking with a reporter about some of the spooky and haunted attractions you can visit outside of Philly. It's Wednesday, September 20th. I'm Trenae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Henry Savage, civics reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer, and you write how-to guides and how we navigate the city. What's your take on spooky attractions? You love them? Terrified of them?
Absolutely love them, even since I was a
Okay.
kid. And Philly and the surrounding areas have an abundance of them. So we got you covered on that end.
Okay, now do you get dressed up and get into the vibes of the spooky, scary attractions?
I personally haven't, but I know people that do that, especially Friday the 13th with Jason. That camp is somewhere in New Jersey. So I know people do that. But
Mm.
no, and also I know plenty of people that also do makeup for some of the haunted attractions. But me personally, no, I'm just there to get scared.
Okay. I would be squeezing your hand because I'm such a scaredy cat. But Henry, you came up with this amazing list of haunted attractions for the Inquirer. Some of the places are in Philly, like Lincoln Mill Haunted House, Fright Factory, and of course, Eastern State Penitentiary. Do you have a favorite?
Yes, I would definitely just say go with the classic Eastern State Penitentiary. And even more recently, they kind of changed the way they started doing it. So actually now, right in the center of the spookiness is like a beer garden. And the last time I was there, we had beers and pizza in the middle of the spookiness. So I will say it kind of has everything for you. So I'll say Eastern State.
But then, Henry, there are scary places to visit outside of the city. We're going to organize these destinations starting closest to Philly and then further out. Let's start with the Bates Motel, and that's in Glen Mills, PA.
That's right. It's about 30 minutes, depending on traffic, 30 minutes to an hour outside the city.
And what's the highlight of the Bates Motel? I'm sure this is not a place where you would want to stay overnight.
No, not at all. And of course, inspired by Alfred Hitchcock's 1960 film, Psycho, the highlight's got to be the actual motel itself. But there's also spooky cemeteries with excellent set pieces, messed up clowns, and of course the hotel. But there's also a haunted walking trail, which if there's ever an attraction with a walking aspect of it, that's usually where people come and jump scare you.
Okay.
But CNN actually named this attraction one of the best in 2019. So it's also made some ranking lists.
Interesting. Now that I'm thinking about it, Henry, what makes a good haunted attraction a good haunted attraction?
Absolutely. Well, I would say from what I've seen is a lot of variety. I think people now are, and especially with Halloween, people are used to a classic haunted house. But now it's like, you need the haunted hayride, you need the haunted house, maybe a spooky cornfield, and, kind of just a lot of variety. So, and also great actors. Really, these places are nothing but without those actors
Right.
that come and get dressed up and scare you.
Yeah. Okay. Where else can we go in Pennsylvania? Let's talk about the Valley of Fear. Oh, gosh.
Yes, the Valley of Fear, about the similar distance, 30 minutes to an hour. And this one's interesting. It has a haunted hayride, as that's kind of a classic, a murderous manor, filled with scary thrills. But then at the centerpiece is a ghost pirate named One-Eyed Willie, who has a treasure cove that he is going to protect, and he will terrify you if you step even a foot inside of it. So Valley of Fear is a great one to put on your list as well.
Henry, let's go over the bridge to New Jersey. Where would you recommend we should try?
So, about 30 minutes outside the city in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, is the Night of Terror. And this one's very cool because by day, it's called Creamy Acres Farm, an idyllic little family getaway with dairy cows and a garden center. But once night comes, monsters, creatures, chainsaw wielding ghouls take over. And specifically, the very unique part about this one is that they have a hayride where you can shoot paintball guns at the monsters and creatures trying to scare you. So if that's kind
What?
of, yes.
My next question was this good for the kitties?
Right. So, I mean, honestly, it could be. It sounds like a lot of fun. And actually, HGTV featured this one on their show, Halloween Tricked Out. So you can catch some stuff on there too.
I like that we have some high rated places in our area.
We do.
This is so cool. Now, let's talk about some attractions that are further out. So, this is like 45 minutes to an hour from the city. Tell us about Sleepy Hollow Haunted Acres in Newtown, PA.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so now we're getting a little bit farther out. This is like 45 minutes to an hour, Newtown, PA, Bucks County. And this is the reimagining of the village of Sleepy Hollow, the gothic horror story that many have come to know. And here, there's a lot of attractions: haunted orphanage, dark crypts, deadly farm fields, forbidden cottages, and of course,
Check, check,
yeah,
check.
we got it all. And then, of course, the Headless Horseman. And
Mm.
this one also has a manor with 17 different rooms. And another kind of interesting part of this one is they also have friendly bonfires and live music. So, like, if you're not into
Oh,
getting
nice.
scared, bring the friend, bring the partner, bring the kids. If you're not into it, let them have fun. And then you can have like hot cocoa and sit by the bonfire.
See, I like that. I
Hmm.
like that option.
No, for real.
Okay, if we want to go down south into Delaware, there's a haunted attraction based around an evil doctor. Tell us about Frightland.
Yes, and this one's low key kind of my favorite. So 45 minutes to an hour, Middletown, Delaware. And this one, I love lore. This one has lore. As someone who loves RPGs and fantasies and things like that, I'm all about the lore. So this one surrounds a haunted mystery of Dr. Thaddeus Idalia, an evil doctor who went mad after the unforeseen death of his daughter. And he started doing gruesome experiments on, his patients. And here you'll go through his manor that he secluded himself for years. You'll go through the cemetery where he had buried his victims, and plenty of other fun, haunted hayrides. And this one also has something called a zombie prison, which I have not been able to
Mm.
check out, but just the name itself, I'm like, that might be my stop this year.
I could imagine like zombies trying to grab through the bars, trying to
Yes.
reach for you. Oh gosh, it's terrifying. All right. And before we go, there's also the classic Penhurst Asylum in Spring City, PA. What's the appeal of this haunted attraction?
Yeah, sure. So this one's the farthest one. It's about an hour outside the city. But this place used to be a real asylum, a state school, and a hospital for like 80 years. So they actually have a museum on site where you can learn about this facility. But then they also have the asylum itself where, you will explore the asylum, the morgues, and then underground tunnels beneath this place, all filled with monsters, ghouls, and like murderous medical staff. But another thing that they do as well that's different from other places is that you can pay to do paranormal investigations at this place. But yeah, this one is known across the region, a little bit afar, but if you want to go see it, you should check it out.
Now, I know there have been recent conversations about reimagining mental health hospitals, especially like places where actual harm was done. Should we still patronize these places?
That is a great question, and it's even a question that we've had to answer here in Philly with Eastern State Penitentiary, which was a prison for years where they actually had people come in. They've had panel discussions to kind of rethink the way that they were putting on this Halloween attraction and maybe profiting off of some of that harm. So a lot of these places bring people in to discuss these issues and figure out ways to still have a Halloween attraction, but also educate on the harm that a lot of these places did.
Why do you think there are so many spooky places to go visit in Pennsylvania? Do we just like being scared more?
That's a good question. I think too, Pennsylvania is one of the older states. We've got a lot of history here, a lot of old buildings. And I think we do like spooky. Like if you come into Philadelphia during Halloween, you will see 10-foot skeletons in front of our neighbors' houses that draw crowds. You'll see whole blocks decorate for Halloween. So, it's a good question. And actually, another fun fact is in Philadelphia, the Fright Factory, which is another haunted attraction, the horror film Terrifier 2 came and filmed some of their stuff there. So I think that Pennsylvania and specifically the Philly region just have a lot of love for Halloween.
All right, that was Henry Savage, civics reporter for the Philadelphia Inquirer. Thanks so much for these recommendations and for joining me on CityCast Philly.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode about spooky attractions, tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter, Hey Philly, to learn more about what else Philly's talking about. We'll be back tomorrow morning to learn about some wineries we should visit this fall. See you then. Bye.